You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. Heidi, much love to you, too. Good to see you here in the chat room. And everybody else who wants to pop in. Hello to everybody out there in all the countries that are listening to the show tonight. Hey, Mr. Wozo, good evening, sir. Thank you for popping in. Hello, Michelle. Really nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. Who else we got? Oh, okay. Hey, Holly, good to see you, hon. All right. That's great, man. My angels, I'm telling you, they're my angels. But I just want to remind you that right after my show tonight, the Gateway Podcast with C.L. Thomas, she has an awesome guest on tonight on her show. His name is Christopher Balzano. And a while back, many moons ago, we had him on Chasing Prophecy. Mark Eddy, good to see you, sir. Good to see you. And so right after my show, just pop on over to her show. And I'm telling you what, awesome guest tonight. She's an awesome host. And give her some love. Me, tonight, it was like, well, when I woke up this morning, it was like 7 degrees outside. It was cold as hell. Yes, definitely cold. Nothing has changed. No stress, no nothing. Just, going through the motions every day. When I wake up and stuff like that. I don't know. I got to go back to work tomorrow. This was my weekend. So, you know what? That's okay. Go to work, make some money, look forward to retirement. Head out west or wherever the gold or the ghost take me. But tonight, as you saw in the ad, I was talking about some Irish traditions. At the time that I was making this show up or putting this show up, that's what was running through my mind was Irish traditions. If someone can answer this question for me, I'll go and search for a mug and I'll send it to you. What is 26 days and the wake up. What is 26 days and a wake up? And you can't cheat. So think of that question, and first one that comes up with the answer, we'll get a mug if I can find one. I think I do have a couple of them in there. So that's the question of the evening. So well, I was thinking, you know, as I was thinking about it, it's becoming March. I saw your post and I figured it was St. Patrick's Day. Very good, Heidi. You win the mug. You win the mug. It's St. Patrick's Day. The holiday where everybody is Irish that day. Yes, looking forward to it. But I was talking about doing some Irish traditions tonight. But you know what? I don't know. It was just like a gloomy, roomy day today, and there's been a lot of stuff on my mind recently, and it has to do. Oh yes, you are winning, hon. Yes, he's winning. Go whoop all you want. But if anybody else wants a mug, just give me a call or send me a message, and we'll be here too. I'll be happy to send you one. But yeah, so it's been a gloomy day today. It's been a week since I've been waiting for my answers from the PET scan that I took last week, and found out tomorrow that there's going to be like 8 or 9 cancer doctors and surgeons are going to look at my case tomorrow. And so if you can, please keep your fingers crossed, so because toward it wasn't bad for the first couple of days, but then again, I started to get nervous whenever I did not hear anything. And then when it became a week, I was like really, really, really getting uptight. But I guess Spirit knew, or God, whoever you believe in, who I believe in God, said, okay, Sean, you had enough. All right, I'm going to get this phone call for you. And they did. So I'm kind of happy on that. But as I was wondering, and I was thinking, I was doing a little research tonight, and since it's a gloomy, doomy day, this topic that I'm bringing up today, it could be gloomy, doomy, or, it's natural. Okay. It's life. It's how life goes. So as you can look at the bottom of the screen, going across the screen, I have down here is a question. Who is Hades, Pluto, Callie, Dawn, R1, and Morgan? Can somebody tell me who they are? That is Hades, Pluto, Callie, Dawn, R1, and Morgan. So I'll let you think about it for a little bit. Hangover. No, buddy. 34 years without a drink, dude. I'm good. But maybe instead of a regular hangover, deities are correct, but there's other names for them. There's what their main names are about. But yeah, when I go back to Steve, Mr. Wojo there, I'm like, my hangover, like I would have to say a emotional, stressful hangover. Cosmic? Could be if you want to. But let me tell you who they are. Hades, Pluto, Callie, Dawn, Arwen, and Morgan are the gods of death. Okay? Hades is Greek. Pluto, believe it or not, is a Roman god of death. Roman god. What is Roman god? And Kali is Hindu. But what I want to bring up too is like the next three: Dawn, Arwen, and Morgan. They are Celtic gods of death. Okay. Now you're thinking to yourself, "Oh God, Sean, what are you talking about that for?" Blah 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 blah. Well, me and my brother were sitting around the table tonight, and we were talking about it. And he said, "Well, why don't you do a show on mystical gods or gods of death from different, countries or different religions?" And so I got, and especially with me with my Celtic roots, I came up and I just typed in on Wiki, like, well, I might get a check mark for saying Wiki because I'm not allowed to say stuff like that, but I don't care. But I looked up the Celtic gods of death, and there were three of them. Dawn, who is considered the Dark One in the Irish mythology of death. And now there's Arwen. I got to look at my notes here, guys. Arwen is the Welsh god of death. He is the ruler of Annwn, the Celtic afterlife. But what's crazy about that, he's mistaken as a evil god. To where Arwen, okay, is a real, it's like our heaven, is what our Arwen is. But the third one, Morrigan, well, she caught my eye, okay? And not because she's a woman goddess. No, none of that. It's because when I was looking at her and not researching, but reading over her stuff, hey, Kason, good to see you, buddy. Welcome. She is it was really, I really was like, not factuated. I can't think of the name, but I kind of like was like, this is like very interesting, and I figured, hey, why not bring this up in tonight's show? Okay, so Morrigan is the Irish goddess of war, hate, and death. An Irish goddess. Now I know there's a lot of other goddesses out there who are Irish and stuff, but they're pretty good ones. But this Morrigan chick, right? She is what? Of war, hate, and death. Hey, Sebastian, good to see you, sir. Thank you for popping in tonight. Now, you would automatically think people who follow mythology, people who follow, deities, gods, goddesses, whatever, Morrigan is the Irish goddess of that. But you also had another one who is Morgana Le Fay. Okay, but and so I was like really curious if Morgana Le Fay and Morrigan were the same person. But come to find out, they're not. They're totally different. And I was shocked to hear that. I really was. Because before I actually read up on the difference between the both, I figured they were the same people. But you know how you get into different, different, like Irish and Arthurian and, Hindu and all that good stuff. Different names for the same meanings. But no, they're not. And what's really crazy, Morrigan, right? Her symbolisms are snakes, crows, and ravens, and the moon. And Morgana, on the other hand, is the same thing: crows, ravens. So everything just seems to be symbolic between, like, the both of them are different names, but they seem like they're the same person. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. But about Morgana Le Fay, she was the half sister of King Arthur. And I do believe, maybe somebody out there could tell me if, I'm not sure, maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I think Morgana brought King Arthur, she fixed him up. She took care of him to where he got better. I'm not sure about that. But that's for another show. Okay. I like to bring people, I'm going to try to find a guest that can get more into the mythology, because I haven't had a show on that for a very, very long time. And I don't know, I find it very interesting. I did have a friend of mine who was really big into the Greek mythology. And she taught me one where it kind of blew me away. Okay. Now, at the time, Christianity came over into the Emerald Isles over there in the United Kingdom, Ireland, Wales, and over there they had a lot of pagans. Okay. And Christianity decided to come over there and say, hey, you all can't do that no more. You have to follow the Christian book. And kind of like teed off some of those, the pagans over there. And I just lost thought what I was going to say. But so before I, get back to where I was thinking, St. Patrick, he said, his thing was driving the snakes out of Ireland. Well, everybody should know that there are no snakes in Ireland, right? There isn't. So what they meant was getting rid of all the pagans and the evil out of Ireland. And that's where the snakes were. Hey, Liz, good to see you. Welcome. Glad you could make it. So Morrigan, fascinating lady. Maybe she was this bad goddess. Who knows? Okay, Liz. Okay, so Morrigan is an Irish goddess of war, death, and hate, or fate. Hate, yep. She is the most feared and complicated figures in Irish mythology. You want to look her up? It's Morrigan. Unlike other gods, she doesn't offer comfort or protection. I wonder if she had red hair. Shouldn't have said that. I wonder if she had red hair. Morrigan and Morgana, also the Lady in the Lake. No, Cason, she isn't the Lady of the Lake. No, not at all. But, okay, sorry for all the redheads out there. that was just a thing. And she shows up on the battlefields. I don't, it's just amazing how the goddesses could actually be that mean. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to have to find, somebody to come on. Maybe I can get Michelle to come on. Maybe she knows a little bit about it. But also, her rules, Morrigan, her rules are, she incites warriors to battle, helps bring a victory over enemies, strikes fear into enemies, foretells doom, death, or victory in battle. She also represents the forces of fate, especially who enter battle. And her symbols are, like I said before, the crows, the ravens, the snakes, and the moon. Yes, same name though, right? Same name, different meaning, sir. Morrigan and Morgana, you would think they're the same, but they're not. They're not this. They're not. They're totally different. Kind of blew me away. So, what are your thoughts about this, everybody, ladies and gents? Please tell me. What do you think about Morrigan? What do you think about Morgana? Or what do you think of the gods of death? which I'm going to put a segue into you. Okay, for my next question. What does death mean to you? What's death to you? I can tell you mine. Death is a rebirth. I look at death as something. Okay, Michelle says, I need to know more. I'll have to do some reading. Okay, Michelle. Thank you. And she says she thinks it's interesting. Sweet. But what does death mean to you? Death to me, for me, is that it's a rebirth, something to start over. And peace, Michelle says peace, death is peace. But when we hear people talk about death, they're like, and they get really sad. They get angry. They get upset because that certain person, that certain business, a certain job went away. Heidi says energy never dies. That's true. Sebastian said there was 2 real king authors of whales, not myth. C. Wilson and Blackett, the real historians. I will definitely do that, Sebastian. Thank you. So when I see death, I just get this calming peace over looking, at the people in the coffin. Have I mourned? My father died back in 1986. And to this day, I have not mourned him. Now, people come up to me, and this is true. People come up to me and they say, Sean, how come you don't mourn your father's death? How come you never mourned it? And I never had a reason for it because I didn't know. And for the longest time, it bugged the shit out of me. It really did. Kaysen says, death is a blessing to me at this point. If you asked me 20 years ago, I would say otherwise. So it depends. Thank you for sharing that, Kaysen. Heidi says, I'm completely okay with death. I lost my mom years ago, and I do miss her daily. But I know it's a transformation. She has visited me, and today I happened to come across a reel of a tree full. Sweet. And cardinals, which was her mom's favorite. Speaking of cardinals, man, they've been like hanging around a lot, There are like 3 of them that just keep hanging around all day, which I think is so cool because I think they're very pretty. But do I need to mourn? Do I need to cry? Do I need to grow up? Yes, I do have to grow up, Kaysen says I miss my mom too, miss her every day. And you know what, Kaysen, Heidi, I miss my father. I miss him. But what really has helped me through this all is that with the paranormal is that I know he's still around. And I know my friends who have passed away are still around. And the crazy thing is that they're happy. They are really, really happy. They are pain-free. They're healthy. Their energy's healthy. And to me, it's like that rebirth. If you look at the Animal Spirit Guidebook, okay, the snake means transformation. So these people that passed, they just transformed into pure energy. And they're still hanging around. So I don't dwell on death hardly anymore. You have to realize that this our bodies, okay, they're just shells. Our bodies are shells. Our skin, bones, they're shells. But when we die, okay, the shell dies. And our spirit moves on. Butterflies too, yes, butterflies too. Michelle said, lost too many. I ran out of tears. Missed my mom, dad, 2 sisters, husband, and the rest. Stephen, Mr. Woja says, your father is in you. You carry his goodness, love, and friendship with all. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Woja. I appreciate that. Kason says, yeah, at least they're not in pain anymore. It's true. Butterflies, Heidi says. Heidi says exactly my thoughts too, Kason. My mom lived with 38 years, with MS for 38 years. And Michelle said the rest, immediate and extended family. So should we mourn it? Or should we go on with our lives? Heidi says, I have had many close people die in the last years. And, my condolences on that, Heidi. My condolences on that. But, I don't know, maybe I'm, being an egotistical bastard here when I say that. Maybe it's because, I'm a paranormal investigator, blah, blah, whatever, my attitude. No, it isn't. I do believe it's because it's the way that I am wired, I'm wired for this. And it was really bad for me when my father died. That it was really bad that I couldn't cry at his funeral. I could not cry. And that bothered me for a very long time. Heidi says, I think you have to process it, whichever way a person has to. Crying movies energy really well. And she's got a good point there, everybody. You have to process it in so many different ways that that you are comfortable for processing it. And I just feel like I needed to share that with you guys tonight. I really did. And I'm glad that everyone is participating in the chat. But so to me, death isn't that bad. Death is okay. And I will, we will, or we'll definitely get over it. Because no matter, how sad a person can get if their significant other has passed, they're always going to be with that person. They might not be in human form like this, but they will definitely be there in spirit. And whenever you know that your significant other is around you, then it's going to make life a lot more easier. It will make life a lot more easier for you. But we are at the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to take my 70-second break, maybe a minute break, and come back, and then we'll finish up. So hold on, go to the bathroom, smoke a cigarette, get a drink, do what you got to do, and I shall be back.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the second part of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. Don't forget, right after tonight's show, we got the Gateway Podcast with C.L. Thomas. She has an anonymous guest, a very great guest on tonight on her show, Christopher Bozzano. Very interesting person. He has some good stories, good things to talk about. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans for allowing me to give you my Tuesday night and Sunday night show. Talking about the Sunday night show, how did everybody like, the cast and the crew of Rock Fair and Pittsburgh Paranormal and Paranormal Pittsburgh? Excuse me. I hope you enjoyed the show. Oh, wow. Hey, CL, how are you, hon? Good to see you, buddy. Sebastian Moran says, we all have to deal with death passing on in our own way. I think it depends on how our loved ones pass, and us, of course. Okay. Hey, Joe Fox, good to see you, brother. Top of the morning to you, too, and the rest of the day to you. I'm ready to go to bed, to be honest with you. Let's see. Okay, we won't tell you where Cason's at, but Heidi agrees with Sebastian, but it is definitely true. In the first half of the show, we were talking about what does death mean to you? And to me, death, they were amazing. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Now, if you would have asked me that 20, 30 years ago, it might have been a different story then. But now, it's just like I'm okay with it. Like I told in the first part of the show, I never grieved my father's death. Even to this day, I have not. And it bothered me for a long time. Ooh, there we go. I just accepted the fact that he's gone. I'm not even blown away with it. So, whenever you go to a tarot reader, you get the death card, and all of a sudden, with the movies and all that bull crap out there, saying, "Oh, she got the death card. Oh, she's going to die." No, you're not going to die. No. Eventually, we all die, but you're not going to, you get a tarot reading done and someone pulls out the death card on you. No, it's just, the death card just means a rebirth. Sebastian says, thank you, Heidi. Yes, it can be difficult. Time may anesthesia, but it never really goes away. He also says, comes to us all anyway, then move on. I had to move on. If you don't move on from somebody who has passed or a business who has passed, you're just going to be stuck, and you're not going to be able to grow. I remember I was 24 years old when my father died, and I'm what, 62 now, and I had to move on at 24. I couldn't dwell on it. Kaysen says, having no family, everyone I love will die before me and I will linger on. Well, if I won't die early. And Sebastian says, an OBE proved to me that conscious is part of the spirit. So that's interesting, Sebastian. That's very interesting. But like Heidi mentioned before, if you're standing around or you're sitting on your porch or something like that, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of cardinals hanging out, chirping at you. You'd think that they would be like, thank you, Joe Fox, I appreciate that. But if you see a bunch of cardinals sitting on the telephone line or the power line in front of you, chirping away like, hey, feed me, feed me. but all it is cardinals are your people who were close to you who pass away. And I have about 4 or 5 of them now in my backyard, which is totally interesting. So I guess whenever I get into a depressed mood or something like that, or I just feel gloom and doomy and stuff like that, the cardinals do appear. The cardinals do appear. And then it puts a smile on my heart, puts a smile on my face, and I know I'm going to be okay because they are hanging around. Heidi says, I have asked my mom to see cardinals. So cardinals are a good thing. But like I was talking with Heidi one night, one day, we talked about the crows and the ravens. Okay, and we discussed that earlier about Morrigan, who is the goddess of war, hate, and death. Her symbols were ravens and crows. So was Morgana Le Fay. Kaysen says, imagine me an old man 20 years from now alone and still joining in the chat. You know what, Kaysen? I can see that happening. We were still around, every one of us in this chat, everybody who knows you on EPRN. And that's the host and that's the people that, that are in the rooms with you. We just accept you as you are. It's like the Kaysen isn't still there. I'll be here too, hopefully, God willing. 20 years, that'll put me in the 80s. Oh, gosh. That would be crazy, huh? But I just wanted to bring this topic of death up. And just share it with you guys how I felt. And hopefully that you guys could, get a little bit of information from me on how I deal with it, I guess another reason why I brought it up too is because of the PET scan that I took, and listen, when I tell you my story, okay, I'm being honest with you, people might think I'm on here for a pity party. But I'm not, I am very, very open about me, I could be quiet and not tell anybody what I'm going through, which I think is crazy because if I just keep everything inside me, okay, then I'm just going to go crazy, But you are my friends. You are my people. And I'd like to be open and honest with you. Heidi, okay, Heidi says, my dad amazes me daily. He's, I don't know actually, but up there. Cool. My mom's 85, so she's up there too. But she's old, she's Irish, and she's an old Irish woman. And that's one thing you don't mess with. She also has red hair. That's why I was wondering if the goddess Morrigan had red hair. That's a joke. Don't tell her I said that. All right. Appreciate it. But the reason why I brought up the topic of death is because they found 2 spots on my lungs. Okay. And they've been there for about a year. And they grew up. They grew up. They grew a little bit. And so last Tuesday, I had to get a PET scan done. And the PET scan, they shoot some stuff into your veins and it goes through your body. And and if the spots come up a different color, then you got some in there. So I got a good bill of health for my lungs. My lungs are healthy. Okay, no water, no pneumonia, nothing like that. But the 2 marks are still there. And they did find some minute traces of the cancer. Yeah, dye. I think it's dye, Michael, what they shot into me. And so tomorrow, okay, there's going to be a team of cancer doctors and cancer surgeons that are going to look at my case and go from there. So that's why I brought up that. Because this past week, waiting for an answer from the doctors, it was almost like, a death sentence. What? No, you were born in 1969? No way, Heidi. Oh my God. Oh my God, 1969. Oh my God, I thought you were born in 1980. Oh my gosh. No, not that. Yeah, 1980. But that's why, I brought it up. But it is coming up, 26, and the wake up is St. Patrick's Day. And of course I'm going to do a couple shows on the Irish. Sebastian Moran says B1, B17, and sea oil. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. This is getting crazy in the chat room. But I am going to bring up in future shows, I'm going to bring up a little bit about Irish traditions, about St. Patrick. I'm going to talk about the little people over in Ireland, the Fays, the gnomes, the unicorns, stuff like that, and the fairies. I like this time of the month because I can, talk about this on my shows, and once a year I get to talk about this. But I will be bringing it up. I do believe St. Patrick's Day is on, I don't know, Friday or something. I don't know. But I know that week of St. Patrick's Day, it's going to be fun. I'll be wearing green. I hope everybody else wears green. That would be great. Where Stephen Wojo says, where's the pot of gold? I'll tell you where the pot of gold is at, Mr. Wojo. It is out there in the out in the woods where all the Bigfoot hanging out. They say they got leprechauns protecting that bucket of gold. No. It's the Bigfoot that are doing it. Joe, of course. Oh my God. Yes, that. Please do. That's great. What course is missing? Ooh, where are we at? Let me see. Mr. Wojo says smart ass. Oh, yeah, I should bring up that guy, Michael Anthony. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I will definitely do that. No, I will, Mike. Um, but yeah, we can do the Irish jig, listen to Irish music. Now I know how to put music on the platform here, so we'll be just like singing Irish songs. It's okay. CL says, "Are you going to be okay, Sean?" I sure am, buddy. I definitely will. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. Thank you for asking. Mr. Rosa says, "You're coming with me with the gold zingers." Although, yeah, we got to find some gold zingers for the Bigfoot. But I'm telling you what, that's where the gold's at, over there in um, over in the woods that you hunt for Bigfoot. They're there. They're protecting that pot of gold, brother. No, you're not. No, you're. No, you're. It's okay, Mike. I know I'm going to get you on. Sending much love back to you there, Miss Heidi. Um, CL says we'll keep you in good thoughts and energy. Oh, CL, by the way, man, that guest you got coming on, right? Christopher Balzano. I'm telling you, he's a good dude, man. Um, we had him on Chasing Prophecy, I want to say about 3-4 years ago. And he talked about the Bridgewater Triangle. It's up there in New Jersey. By a bag of black sand. But you know what, guys? Everything's going to be okay. It really is going to be okay. Right now, you wake up in the morning and you're alive. And you go through your day. And then you just go to bed. But everything will be okay. Life might throw a couple monkey wrenches into your life for that day. But you know what? We all get through it. Look at all the bullshit we went through for the last 4 years. And we're still alive. And we're still moving on. You know, it's like walking through the valley of death or hell or whatever, walking through hell. And we did that. And now we're coming out of hell and we're going to go into something good. I believe that in my heart. Heidi says, exactly my thoughts, Sean. This too shall pass. It will. It will. Because whoever you believe in, God, Buddha, whoever, they're just going to have good things for us, along the way. And yes, they're going to throw roadblocks at your ass. And yes, they're going to throw monkey wrenches into your life. But you know what? You're going to get over it. Might take a little while. Makes you think. But you're going to make it. I know everybody here is going to make it. I am so grateful for everyone in the chat room. I'm grateful for all my friends here all over the world, in the United States, here in Pittsburgh. I was truly blessed when I started doing podcasts. I did. I was truly blessed to have met wonderful, good people. Kaysen says moon landing. I think they went, but shot some footage in the studio. That's for another show, Mr. Kaysen. That's another show there, buddy. Mr. Rojo says, we are grateful for you, brother. Well, thank you. And Heidi's grateful too. And it's just, I get little warm fuzzies all over my body knowing that y'all are in here. I do. But it's getting close to that time where I have to end the show. Okay. And I cannot tell you enough about C.L. Thomas's wonderful guests he's having on tonight on her show, the Gateway Podcast, is Christopher Balzano. You should really listen to his show. He has a lot of interesting things to say. Sebastian goes, one giant leap for the gullible kind. I like that, buddy. It's so good to see you, Sebastian. It really is, brother. It's so glad to see everybody. But listen, hey, I'm glad you all joined in tonight, and I'm glad that you got to find out who are some of the gods of death out there. And children, if you can, please, go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please, go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents, and if you have no children, find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you. On that note, good night. Don't forget, I will see you Sunday night, 8:10, same place, same station. And don't forget, you got Miss C.L. Thomas and the Gateway Podcast coming up next. Good night, everybody. Talk to you soon. Good night.